going to transition to the housing market update.
Rachel's got the numbers. Who's buying? Who's selling? What's hot on the block? Update. Hey.
And
Well,
Rachel, this is a pretty good handoff because the market you're about to describe is.
It does. It actually has a lot of room in it, and actually, I think we're seeing some real movement as far as investments. So, if you are sitting on a VA loan, as Grafton was describing, that can be utilized to purchase investment opportunities and or purchase a home, whether that be an upgrade or maybe your first property. So there's a lot of opportunity in today's market, and I want to drill down some numbers very quickly for you. I feel like we have. I don't want to spend a lot of time repeating that buyers have choices, that sellers need to repair their homes, or that different price points behave differently. We know all of that, right? We've been talking about that. Instead, there is one number in this week's data that really caught my attention. The pace at which we're selling our available inventory has slowed. And that may be telling us something about where the market is heading next. So here's what happened. Last week, Hardin County had 408 active listings and 104 homes had sold during the previous 30 days. That gave us approximately 3.9 months of inventory on the market. This week, active inventory increased slightly to 416 homes, but the number of homes sold during the trailing 30 days dropped to 89. That pushed us to approximately 4.7 months of inventory. And that's an important distinction. Inventory didn't suddenly explode, the pace of sales slowed. And that's what we call absorption, the rate at which buyers are absorbing the homes currently available. And right now, that's the number I'm paying close attention to. Will that pick up? Will we start to see absorption increase? What are interest rates going to do to the absorption rate? We're headed towards the holiday season. The market notoriously slows down through the holiday period. So here's this week's numbers. Phil's got them on our screen for us. These are in Hardin County, the Hardin Kentucky Association of Realtors MLS. We're looking at the week of August 11th through the 18th. 35 new listings came to the market. 21 homes went under contract. 13 families moved into their new homes. There are 416 active listings across Hardin County, and 89 homes sold during the last 30 days. That's down, guys, from 104. So you see there the numbers. I like the way you made this, Bill. Our average days on market actually decreased, however. They went down to 76 from 80. So what I would guess is that some of these new listings that have been going up over the last couple of weeks, they are priced appropriately and the condition is exceptional. And so they're actually converting quickly, which is dragging that days on market down a little bit. Average list price was $352,801. Average sold price increased to $315,780. And our median sold price climbed to $305,000. So here's where this gets interesting. We have fewer homes selling over the trailing 30 days, but both our average and median sale prices increased. And the average days on market actually fell by 5 days. That's not necessarily the picture of a weak market. It's the picture of a market, once again, as I've been mentioning, becoming more selective. Okay. There's something I want to watch before calling it a trend. Last week, average days on market was 81. This week, it's 76. At the same time, our 30-day sales pace declined. So what could that mean? I think we're starting to see a separation between the home buyers want and the homes they are willing to pass over. The first, with my team, I always push and really encourage them to watch very carefully how the market demonstrates its interest in the first 14 days. The first 14 days on market is a pretty good indication of whether you have the home marketed correctly, priced appropriately, and the condition is exceptional. Okay. So we watch very closely to see how it performs in that first 14 days. At that 14-day mark, you got to make some quick. Okay? So there's definitely properties that are just sitting on the market. Rather than walking through every price category this week, we typically break down the different price categories. You can find that all at hardinlocal.com. The one I want to highlight, which I find surprising, is homes that are priced between $400,000 and $600,000. There's 80 homes available in this price range. 8 sold during the last 30 days. That's approximately 10 months of inventory, okay? So to give you some perspective on that, homes under 250,000 are currently sitting at roughly 3.3 months of inventory. There's even higher priced markets moving faster than this one. It is definitely something I am watching very closely. What is slowing down the 4 to 600,000 price range? And if you are a buyer looking in that price point, you're probably gonna get a great deal right now. And if you're a seller entering the market at that price point, be prepared for longer days on market, or your pricing needs to be really good and your condition has to be exceptional. If you're selling a $500,000 home right now, the overall Hardin County statistic of 4.7 months doesn't really describe your competition. You're competing in a segment with substantially more supply relative to recent demand. So make sure that you're working with a licensed professional that understands how to make your property stand out. Going down through here, I'm looking. So to summarize, I'm looking closely at the absorption rate as we go into the rest of this quarter and into the fall. Want to see. I want to watch carefully the amount of listings that are coming to the market and how quickly they are being absorbed by the market. And the other thing that I'm watching very closely week over week is that 4 to 600. It's just slightly over the median sales price in Hardin County, which is surprising to me because I've got homes up in the 800,000 that are moving much faster. So curious as to what is creating that. All right, guys, I think that's gonna summarize. I've got more, but there's a that I want to for time purposes. That's about all. So we'll be back next week with your housing market update. I rarely have time for questions at the end. So does anybody have any questions from the information that I shared this week?
I do. I've got a quick one. Do you see what we see in loans sometimes? I feel like also this time of year when people go back to school, we see it slow down just a little bit. And you talked about kind of how the numbers are kind of reflecting that. The 6 years that I've been in it, I've noticed that people are really focused in the area on maybe getting back to school, getting kids back into school, and then maybe hopefully we see it pick up a little past then. Have you seen the same thing on your side?
Absolutely. In fact, I'm excited to go into next year because we've been mapping this now, Phil, since January. But 100% just from my knowledge year over year, right? Being in it for a decade now, always. And I'm a mom. I get it. The last thing on my mind right now, I'm in survival mode. Okay, we've got football starting, we've got school, we're getting up earlier, we're back getting back into schedules. So absolutely, we are experiencing a bit of a just a softer period. I don't want to say slowdown. I think it's just man, I can't think of the word, but basically the people that are like really aggressive, it just kind of cools off just a little bit, and you got to kind
For
of
sure.
encourage them right now because their focus is elsewhere.
All right.
All right, guys. Well, if there's no